This is a 1989 Eunos Roadster, also known as a Mazda Mx-5 or Miata. Now, for those of you that don't know about Eunos, it was a sub-branch off of Mazda, branded as an upscale, fun-to-drive line, and it was exclusively sold to the Japanese market. So now, of course, this is an original JDM version that has been imported now from Japan to Australia. The Roadster, MX-5, Miata, whatever you want to call it, has been in production now for over 30 years, starting way back in 1989, and is still going today with the latest 4th generation ND. Shortly after this car's release, Car and Driver put it in its top 10 best list for 1990 and 1992. This car is also the single most popular two-seater sports convertible in the world, with well over 1 million units sold. Now, under the bonnet, when this thing originally came out from factory, this had a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, making about 114 horsepower and 100 pound-foot of torque. Not huge numbers at all, but let me remind you that this car only weighs in at just over 900 kilos. Thankfully though, this car is not completely stock, so let me introduce the owner, who can tell us just exactly what's been done here.
How are we, Kenji?
Not bad. How are you?
Yeah, very good, man. Cheers for bringing the car down.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me in the show.
Yeah, so please explain to us all what you've actually done to your cool little MX-5 here.
Absolutely. So when I got the car, which was 4 years ago, it was mostly stock and it was carby as well. But then I decided that I wanted to do more with the car, so I converted it back to fuel injection.
Yep.
And I've started doing mods to make the engine breathe a bit better, and also towards a turbo conversion. I'm planning to turbo this car eventually.
Yes.
So I've done things such as big radiator, fuel injectors. It's running 550cc. I know it's crazy for an NA, but you know. And then I've got LS coil because the stock ignition system wasn't really keeping up with what I wanted to do.
Yep.
I've also done a lot of modifications in the driveline. I have a 6-speed gearbox from a turbo NB, so from a 2005 NB. Then I've put a 4-kilo flywheel, short shift kit, and
nice.
Then I've also done stuff to the body, such as the low pro headlights.
I really do like the look of the headlights that pop up, but they're just a little bit up.
That's right.
It makes the car really cool.
Makes the car look a bit more aggressive.
A little bit more stealthy.
Absolutely. Then I've got some NK big head rotors, 15 by 8. I think they really suit the car with the 80s, 90s style.
Yeah, I really love the color too.
Oh, thanks.
And you were saying this is an original paint scheme as well.
Correct, yeah, it's called Mariner Blue, and I believe it came out from 1989 to 1991, so it's very limited. Very limited color.
Really suits the car.
Thanks, agree.
Now, this has also had an engine swap, correct?
That's right, yes. It's running a 1.8 from an NA8. I went with an NA8 because it has a bit less compression than the later NB models, and that would suit my plan of converting it to turbo. You know, it would make it easier, you know. So
I'd love to see this thing once it's got a turbo on it.
Absolutely, yeah. I agree. That would be pretty good.
Yeah, so Now you've had this tuned, correct?
Correct, yeah. The car did 130 rear wheel horsepower.
Nice.
And we also compared it to tuned stock Integra Type R, and it did more power throughout the whole rev range up to 7.5 than a Type R. So yeah,
that is surprising. Yeah, that is. That's got me really curious now to take this thing out.
Absolutely, and we also have to keep in account that, you know, I've done some, I've taken some things out of the car to make it a bit lighter, such as remove the soft top because I want to run a hard top all the way, and other things like that. So you'll feel that.
I do like the look of the hard top on here as well. It looks a bit cooler, I think, in my opinion.
I definitely agree. That's why I did left it like this. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is it really got me curious. So how about we just take it for a spin?
Let's go.
Sweet. All right. So driving this 1989 Eunos Roadster Mx-5 Miata, like I said, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, this thing just straight away sitting in it is just so cool. I can kind of understand like why people like these cars, is because they are really nimble. They seem to handle really well. Like just the steering is just, it's so good. And like, how old is this thing as well? And you know, puts a smile on my face. It's not blisteringly fast, as you can imagine, but you know, man, it's got a smile. This thing puts a smile on your face. You know, it just bounces around. It starts going loud, screaming at you. This thing is an enjoyable car to drive. That's the best thing about this thing, is it's just so light, so nimble, and you know, it's just fun to drive because of that. You know. It doesn't have ridiculous power. But it's fun to throw around, and it does kind of feel tossable. You're just so low to the ground, like literally every car I drive by feels like just so giant. Like I'm going by a Toyota Yaris in a parking lot right now, and I feel like that thing's massive. It's just so funny. Whoop! Kicked out a little bit there. You know, these cars are so fun. I can only imagine how fun this thing would be with a turbo or a supercharger. That would just go to next level. To be honest, after driving this, I really want to get into a newer MX-5. I'm really curious now, and I understand why this car's had such a popular run, and it's still in production, guys. That is a feat that not many cars can do. To be in production for over 30 years, sell over 1 million cars, and still be in production, that tells you something. And I never really got it, and driving it today, I get it now. This thing is bloody fun to drive. Yes, it's probably a death trap, and you know, you don't look the coolest when you drive it, but when you're in the seat and you're stepping down your foot and you're going at it, woohoo! It likes to go, and it puts a smile on your face, I'll tell you that. That is what makes this car everything. When you're in the driver's seat and you step on it like that, you go around a B road, you don't care what you look like anymore. You don't care what people think, you know, you don't care about the low power. That is what this car is all about, is just pushing it to its max and driving around a nice B road. That is what this car was built for, and it does it beautifully. Alright guys, I'm going to finish the video off here today. Huge thanks to Kenji for bringing out his Eunos Roadster, or Mazda Mx-5 as everyone's going to call it. This thing was an absolute blast to drive. Couldn't stop smiling, and you've made me a believer today. I totally get why these are so popular now. So I hope you enjoyed this quick review, guys. If you did, please check me out on patreon.com. Check me out on Instagram and Facebook. It's at Ross Reviews. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please hit that like button, consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next video.